Hopefully this is better lighting than it was with the lights off. Excuse me. Okay, so this is one of many monsteras. The little one I just saw in the window is, I don't want to say a baby because I haven't really, what I've done is, my sister gave me, what did she give me? I think it was, she left them here when they moved out. It was 2 pots, I think, of monsteras that had fenestrations, I think, on both of them. And at some point, like 2.5 years ago, I took and repotted them into, gosh, it was an all-day affair. I thought it was going to be an hour. It was not. I got some, and I might have repotted them since then again when I got better pots. I think that's what happened. But what I did was, well, some of them I repotted because I didn't like the size of the pot they were in, and I was trying to put them in fun outer pots like this one. This cute little mushroom thing that I got from Walmart. Super cheap. I think they're still available. And then I needed to find inner pots that fit them, and of course nothing in the store did, and I ended up punching holes in the bottom of, this one is the holes in the bottom of a plate, a pot drip pan. And so it doesn't, I don't think it's like the dirt's this deep. Anyway, in those 2 monsteras, there were a couple of different ones mixed in with each. And I don't know if they're different varieties or if they were just younger plants attached to. One of them was actually grafted onto a very old looking with a lot of fenestrations one. And I think, I don't think this is the original little one. Anyway, it was pretty big. No, this is not. This is something that I cut off of the top. No. Yeah, I think I cut this off the top of one of the ones that she gave me. And, or maybe I cut off the bottom. No, I don't remember. Anyway, what I did was I cut, like so, this whole bit, you can see it's all tangled up because it never had the bracing that it has now on the bamboo sticks. I did that, oh gosh, I think like 1.5 years ago. I realized they were problematic just sitting in their pots bending over, and I learned more about them slowly. I just wanted them in a different pot at the time because they seemed root bound. So eventually I put them in these pots, and what I've done is it's got this new soil. I didn't use anything from the garage, but it's it might have a tiny bit of the original soil, but there wasn't much between the 2 pots, and I've got, I think, 10 orchids, not orchids, 10 of these guys. Look at his fenestrations. There's one right there, only one. And that's not even the most recent leaf. I think that was, he was about to do fenestrations when I cut here to make a different one, a smaller one, which probably would have been something like this. And I cut it because it had below it, it would have been like as if I had cut it right here. And then took the upper part, nope, not there. I would have cut it, yeah, I would have cut it right there. Right below this nice air root. And then I would have rooted 2 roots into the ground over here. And then, it's weird because in the fall, this little guy grew up an extra little item along the edge. So he's got a sister plant growing with him. I guess they do that. I don't know. Anyway, here's evidence of the fact that recently I adjusted this guy on his pole and accidentally pinched him with the claw and killed his second to last leaf, which I'm very sad about. Anyway, so I guess they start out small like this, and the one in the window, and you can still see a little bit overwatered. Look at that yellowing. They've all been overwatered because it was so cold in here they didn't need as much water, and I think I was giving them too much each time. They want less, like, they want a little bit more like a succulent. And I made sure that each of the pots that I put them in have drainage. And so I can remove this and check and see if I've overwatered and dump it, and then disturb the dirt every once in a while with a stick, and they stay pretty dry. You want them to be pretty dry, not just on the surface, but in the inside. Their roots want to be wet, but not their soil, which is hard to do. Hence the fact that these have, I think they have orchid potting soil, bark, charcoal perlite mixed in to make them pretty light and good drainage. And then, anyway, so this is one, this is, I should say 3 in this bathroom out of, I think there were 10 that originally came from it. I gave one to my client who I got so many plants from, and it's thriving in her window. It's got some pretty big branches in it, and I think it just had like 2, and now it's got like 4 or 5. And so I've got these 2, and that one. Look, now the sun is out, now that I'm done with that window area. And then I've got, let's see, several more in the bedrooms, which you'll see that you can choose from. And then I'll go through and tell you if you need me to measure the sizes of the pots and the height. The other thing is I've tried to get these guys to, and you'll see it, variations of them, because I didn't actually put this on. He was already growing with so much, when I got him, he was already growing with so much twistiness and like leaning over and stuff like that. And then I didn't know that the more you turn them so they get sun in the areas where, so like they're going to reach for the sun. Their leaves are all going to want to be toward this. I've twisted them up so they don't be out in the pathway and get ruined anymore, because a lot of the leaves got brushed past so many times that they got broken. So like this guy I have, whoopsie, that was not supposed to happen. So like this guy, I've put him around here because if he's out here, he's going to grow a new leaf right here. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't, because it doesn't focus. It's too dark in here. There's a leaf bit right there that's going to come out, and then what it'll do is it'll grow out this way, and then it'll continue to grow into the room. And so what I wanted to do is put him behind here gently, ever so gently, and let him hook onto there, so that as this stem bit kind of hardens, firms up as it gets older, and as the baby leaf starts to grow, the new leaf I should say, starts to grow from here. And it seems like what they do is they put out a leaf thing on the side that has the sun. You can feel them. It's like a spine. And so if you keep turning it, you'll get them, which is what I was doing for like a year. And that was a mistake, because if you're going to leave them in the same spot in the room, you want the side that is toward a wall or in the corner not to have a bunch of leaves. Because then it pushes it farther out into the room, and then you don't have the ability, I'll show you the one in the bedroom, you don't have the ability to, like, it takes up too much floor space, too much walking space, and people will run into it, especially if you have kids and stuff, or animals. Anyway, I'm gonna go into the next room. So we're in the studio now, and this one is also, I think, originally from Mom's. I've never gotten these from anybody else, I don't think. Anyway, it's variegated. I don't think it's from that same, it's definitely not from the same one that was in the house. Anyway, it's healthy, and I put its own cuttings. I put one back in here. Maybe it came from the one that I'm about to show you, but it's more variegated than that, so I doubt it. But you can see the leaves are slightly different as well. Anyway, this is where you put, I've got 2 of them in there, 2 little babies. And over here, I have a snake plant in this bronze looking pot thing. And it's trying its hardest to fight the dusty and not so great air in here. And a little bit musty as well, apparently. And then I'm on a ladder, so bear with me. And then here I've got the little propagations that you can do in water that have decent roots of this guy. This is that ginormous aloe that was in the windowsill at the house in the kitchen, and I'm pretty sure it stayed out of here for a while because I was trying to transplant it and didn't. I don't think I put it back in here. I think I had this thing empty for a while. Anyway, It gets direct sunlight in the afternoon and always does, so, well, if there's sun. But it's thicker and more prolific and thicker. Even the babies are thicker than the babies that, or the baby that, that were coming from it in the house. It's weird. I don't understand it. So, it's dust. This one is not variegated like the one at the house. It went very dusty. I think it came from the one that I had, gosh, 24 years ago. And it's doing really well. It has spaces that need to be propagated, but every time I try to do that, it seems like it dies back. So I just have not tried to do that recently. I did add, I think one little propagation bit, maybe two. I think there's two in there. This one is in this macrame bit. It's been in that position for quite some time. And I believe that one came originally from Mom as well. I don't think I've gotten them from anybody other than her. And then this one is a cutting from that, I think. Yeah, see, like, no variegations. And then another little cutting that came from it. See how it's got all these area, that whole stem that is not this big back here. It doesn't have any leaves on it, because every time I plant in the leaf, I've tried to make it where I planted it in the ground and then everything from there to there died. Well, it didn't die, but the leaves turned yellow and decided to go away. So I need to cut it here since it's finally established. Cut it there and then use those to make new nodes. Here is a jade that came from the bits over there. And here is one that came off that main plant. And I didn't know it was going to live, so... and then here's one that died. And that is pretty much all that I got in the studio.